Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Luis Cota. I'm an SEO specialist, and today I'm teaching you guys how to get an SEO job with no experience. So if that sounds interesting to you, then keep watching. And no, this is not a scam. And I'm going to show you how I would do it if I had to start over again. Okay, so the first thing that I would do is start gaining SEO experience as a complete beginner. And how I would do that is I would take a course from either Udemy, Coursera, or even a YouTuber who specializes in SEO. And I don't know, let's say they sell a course for, I don't know, like $100, $200, $300. Then I'd probably spend it. But otherwise I would use Coursera, Udemy, or something similar to that because they offer really cheap programs and you learn a lot. And also if you finish quick, then that means you could save yourself a lot of money and still become certified in search engine optimization. And so how you gain experience is by taking and enrolling in courses that teach you SEO. By doing so, you get to learn about on-page, off-page, technical SEO, and a lot more things than that, right? But those are the basic, foundations that you need before you begin working for any client. This is my opinion, but this is the way I see it. So if you know those things, then from there, you can expand your skill sets into other areas that are important in SEO, but you need to have those foundations. And the good thing about that is that once you have those foundations, so basically when I say foundations, I mean once you learn an SEO course about on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and technical SEO, then that opens you to the possibilities of actually finally building out a portfolio. From there, you also gain the skills to make your own website. And this can act as your portfolio as well, because if you manage to bring in some traffic to it, convert some, get some people to sign up for your newsletter, that's really interesting, then this is basically experience at an applied level in the real world. I'll give you some examples later on what this exactly means. But taking a course is step number one in how I would go about getting an SEO job with no experience if I had to start over. And so that's tip number one. Okay, so let's talk about some basic SEO principles that you should learn about. So this is tip number two. Okay, so I'm looking at some notes here that I feel like resonate with me and I feel like would be really helpful to you guys as well, learning about SEO in general. So there's a website called Multi-Channel Merchant, and I'm just going to read off from the list here that they have on what they consider to be basic SEO fundamentals or principles, which are basically the same thing. These are just really important basics that, as an SEO specialist, you should probably learn about and consider learning about. So first thing is keyword optimization. So doing keyword research. This entails using tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs. I think there's one called like Mongo Tools. That's a really good alternative as well that I've used in the past. Or any other keyword research tool that you can afford is a good alternative. Keyword research is kind of like the backbone of SEO in a way, because a lot of the things that you will be doing as a search engine optimization specialist, and if you specialize in keyword research, then you're going to be doing keyword research. So that's a good thing to learn. Title tags. And this includes like the page title tags, the meta title tag, and then meta description tags are also really important things to learn about. I'll put some images here of what these things include, but basically these are the descriptions that you see on the first page of Google, or actually not only the first page, all the pages of Google show a page title and a meta description. And some meta descriptions use keywords. That's optional, which leads me to another point. You should know about all the ranking factors, or most of them, that help SEO. And maybe I'll put a list here showing just like a brief list of things that help websites rank high in Google search results. And so, so it's good to know that as well. Publishing high quality content, according to multichannelmerchant.com, is really important too. And which is why if you're building out like a blog, and you're making that as part of your portfolio, then yes, this is really important, and building out a blog will help serve you as a really important portfolio. I mentioned that a couple times, but it is important if you want to get clients faster in SEO, then that's just an option that you have. And then they talked about something that's really interesting here as well, search engine optimization audit. So it is important to learn about website audits, because that's going to tell you about, you're going to learn about different ranking factors from this audit, and not explicitly, but you'll learn about things that you should prioritize when it comes to website audits, things that you should work on, things that you shouldn't. Yeah, so that's important to learn about as well. Page speed, that's important too. User experience. Let's see what else here. Okay, so here's another really good website that has really good tips on basic SEO principles. But these are more, not so much principles, these are just things that you should consider learning about, because then you'll learn about why you should optimize them, how to optimize them, which will then help serve you better when you're helping clients optimizing their website, and you can explain to them why you're doing what you're doing when it comes to SEO. Tagging images, so adding an alt tag, which is important, just adding a description to an image. That's all it means. And then linking internally, that's really important too, because this can help send a lot of really good ranking signals to Google and help this helps you leverage some AKA or some link juice, which means SEO benefits to your website. So if you know how to link internally on your blog, on your website, or on a client's website, then this is going to help serve you really well. So it's something that you should consider learning about if you're really interested in SEO and you want to, gain clients in this field. And lastly, here are some skills that I feel like we should talk about in terms of just some really high overview of skills that will be important to learn about when it comes to building up your SEO skills. So personally, I think that getting certified in SEO is important. I wouldn't say it's the only way you can go about being a freelancer in SEO, but it is really important because that kind of tells your potential employer that you're willing to put in the work and get certified, because this really interests you. So I feel it can really differentiate you from the pack. And then other ways to build up your SEO skills include getting good at content writing. So really polishing up your writing skills is really important, especially for SEO. You don't want to have any basic mistakes, obviously, because you're working on a client-facing role. And it's important not to mess up the writing, basically. So if you know how to spell, then you're pretty much 90% ahead of the pack. So, and then just working on refining your writing skills. If you could take a course on copywriting, that will also help you a lot, especially for the SEO world of things, because really important. They really complement each other as skills. Sorry about the lighting here. It's a bit annoying, but I've taken some courses on copywriting from, I'm trying to think here, Udemy, maybe even HubSpot, but Udemy for sure. I'll drop a little video or a link here if I remember about it. And then, just reading about copywriting in general, how to copywrite, how to write copy. This helps convert readers into sales, making sales. But I think it's an important skill to learn about if you really want to boost your SEO skills and efforts. And I believe you can have a bigger impact on client results, clients, websites, just by knowing that. Getting familiar with Google Analytics is important too, because that's a tool that you will be using a lot. It's a free one. So if you have your own website, you can hook up your website to Google Analytics. And Search Console, another really important tool that's also free. It just basically gives you information on how people interact with your website, where they get stuck, where they go to, how they navigate your website. Depends how you have your analytics set up. You can get that level of specificity. Content development skills is another note that I have here on my computer. So if you can get good at building out, content topics to write about, how to organize the flow, how to, determine and differentiate topics into different clusters, pillars, and that's going to be a really important skill to have. So if you can learn that from the get-go, when you're starting off your SEO career path, whenever you have time, then that's something you should look into, because that is really helpful as well for your keyword research efforts, and it'll save you a lot of time in the future. And then here's just another thing that I wrote down. Critical thinking skills and problem solving are important, because you want to make sure you're prioritizing your SEO efforts and you're making the right recommendations to clients on what you believe you should work on for their website, given whatever goals they determine they need. So maybe that means sales for some people, organic traffic, or maybe both, more leads, whatever the case may be. But being a good problem solver and prioritizing tasks will help you potentially even run a business, your own day. But basically, it'll help you a lot. So it's important to know that. I know when I took the course on, one of my clients gave me the course, as I mentioned in other videos, access to the Blueprint program. Basically, it means how to build your own SEO agency. And I'm only a year into SEO, so having the opportunity to take part in that course was pretty impactful. I learned a lot from it, and I appreciate the client who gave me access to that course, because I basically now know how to run an agency, and I'm only like a year into SEO, so it's pretty cool. It feels like I know more about SEO than I should at a young career age, basically, but it's pretty cool. And I'll provide some more tips on that if you are interested in learning about that. Obviously, I can't give all the information away. I could provide some tips on things you should outsource, things you should do yourself, and then just tips in general about this topic. And then one of the last bullet points that I have here is becoming proficient in SEO. As we know, that's going to take some time. And, I wish I had a better answer, but, working in a company, from what I've heard from other SEO specialists, a really good way to get your feet wet and then learn so much about how SEO, other departments within marketing work together towards this common business goal. So you can learn a lot working at a business, because I feel like that's one thing that I do lack as an SEO specialist, given that I learned everything on my own. So I am probably willing to, work for a company and do SEO for them, just so I can learn like how things operate within a company, and so I could take some of that skill set and bring it and apply it to my freelance SEO career path. And so I'm willing to share with you guys the journey that I embark on in this SEO career. That's basically a wrap for this video. So if you are interested in learning more about this information, then be sure to subscribe so you can check out when my next video drops. And if you like this information, go ahead and give it a like, and I would appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. You can also check out my next video up here. I'll see you in the next one.